Hey everybody, so I get questions about using the fresh ground flour for baking, and so today I'm just going to make some biscuits. I already have some soup going on the stove, so I want to make some whole grain biscuits, and this is the Mill-Rite flour mill that I use. And then I just take grain that we've grown here on the farm. In this case, it's some Red Fife wheat berries. They are heritage wheat that we grow here on the farm. And I just put some in the hopper of the Mill-Rite and turn it on, and you get this really nice flour that comes out, and it's a little bit coarser than store-bought, so if you want a finer consistency you can always run it through a flour sifter and sift out some of that bran. But you know, you're getting the full grain, so you're getting a complete food when you use the full grain like this instead of store-bought flour where they strip a lot of the nutrients out in order to give it a longer shelf life. So I just put 2 cups of that flour in here along with my other dry ingredients, and this is the recipe that I'm using. You can say it says all-purpose flour and whole wheat flour. I just put 2 cups of my fresh ground flour in there. And then you do use cold butter in this recipe, and I just use this pastry cutter here to cut my butter into about the size of little peas. And then I roll it out and cut it out just like you would any biscuit recipe. So there's really not much difference between using the fresh ground wheat, you know, and your store-bought items, flour. So then I just cut them out, and after I get as many pieces out, I kind of bundle the scraps back up and roll it out again, get a few more cut out, and then whatever scraps are left at the end, I just kind of use my hands to kind of form it into a biscuit shape and just put that on the tray as well. And so yeah, it's really easy, just like any other biscuit recipe really. So here I'm using an old cookie cutter. Sometimes I'll use heart-shaped ones, flowers. I'll use my Christmas cookie cutters to make biscuits and, you know, just have some fun with it. So I'm just lining them all up here on this baking sheet, and I think I got about 9 or so biscuits out of this recipe. But yeah, so it's really simple. And then once you get them all onto your baking sheet, you put them into the oven. And I'm going to use a wood cook stove here just because it was cold in the house, and so I wanted some of that heat from the wood stove. And this is an Enterprise wood cook stove. You can see I've got a fire going in there with some coals already. I'd got my oven box up to temp. So I'm just going to go ahead and slide the biscuits in here. And you can see I do have a regular stove behind me that's propane that I use during the summer when it's kind of too hot to run the wood cook stove. And there are the finished biscuits. You can see that one in the center was my scraps that I just kind of bundled together. And then I've already got some soup on the stove there just staying warm, and we're ready to have dinner. So anyhow, that is how I use the fresh ground flour, and it's not really much different than any traditional biscuit recipe. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything, just leave me a comment below. Thank you. Bye-bye.